You got to be a goldfish sometimes, and after getting beat in the season opener 8-4, they definitely need to be a goldfish. 5-second memory, lots of moves and things to talk about as we get you set for the DNVR Avs pod that starts right now. Welcome inside the Toyota Lounge, brought to you by your Front Range Toyota dealers, and it's time for the DNVR Avs pod, presented by Bet365. Hey everybody, what's going on? Gizmo here with you. Big E alongside. Rudo is still alive and still under the weather. He will not be here today. AJ, still a big part of the pod. He is in Connecticut and will be checking in, I'm sure, in the chat, and you can catch all of his written material. And again, hi, I'm Gizmo. I'm the new guy. Nice to be with you. Looking forward to it. Tough start to the season for the Colorado Avalanche. 8 goals on about 22 shots is not the ideal beginning that you're looking for out of your goaltenders. Both of them saw time. Both of them gave up some goals. We can talk about that in depth a little bit more, but just generally around the league, the save percentages have been a little high.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen a couple nights ago, forget about the games in Europe there, but
yeah,
you've seen the first few nights, a lot of freaking high-scoring games. I mean, like last night, there was a 6-4 game, a 6-3 game. There's a 6-Cobb game. Day before, same thing. You know, obviously the Avs 8-4. I think it's a little bit to be expected. Usually early in the season, there's usually a little kinks to be worked out in systems and new players on new teams, and goaltending are not in their rhythm and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's a little normal to see that, and hopefully, for coach's sake.
Yeah.
Not Bednar, everyone, for their gray hair. You know what I mean? Like, you want to make sure that things get buttoned up a little bit, and then they don't spend their days doing video reviews internally in between games.
Yeah. Some big news, not necessarily huge news, but some goaltending news for the Colorado Avalanche. Let's talk about that in just a second. That'll be next up here. We just literally rushed here from practice to the DNVR bar. Went a little long today at the old Family Sports Center, but good debut by my new favorite guy, Macklin Celebrini in San Jose.
Yeah, it was fun to see guys like that get their first welcome to the national moment. Good on Macklin, and get a goal and assist. The team come up short, but Lane Hudson's been doing some tremendous work. Even though Montreal obviously won the first game 1-0, but last few games, Lane Hudson, my dark horse to win Calder. I'm sticking to it. We did it in our previews, our predictions. So Lane Hudson's been outstanding. Fun things like that around the league. It's always fun to see the new energy and the parents in the stands, and just like
Mom
last game.
Crying.
Yeah, it's fun to see the parents of all those guys, including the Avalanche. Rookies. The other day, same thing. It's fun to see people that have helped you along the way, that have been there throughout the whole journey, and that are there. It's such a moment for everybody. We talk about the draft all the time. This is what it's about. But I'll tell you one thing: there's nothing like playing your first NHL game. I mean, cool. That is,
pretty
a lot
cool.
of people get drafted. Not a lot of people get drafted, but so much less actually play one game, and then you want to make a career out of it, right? So a lot of steps, a lot of milestones. It's kind of like a little baby, you know what I mean? Oh, they're first walking, you know what I mean? It was exciting to get to play the first game. It's fun for the whole family.
Okay, the big news of the day from the Colorado Avalanche, and then we'll talk about practice, is a goaltending signing. Didn't see that coming. Calvin Kahkonen comes in, 139 games over parts of 5 NHL seasons. Claimed him off waivers from the Winnipeg Jets. 28-year-old, split his time in 23-24 between San Jose and the Devils. A 7-24-3 record, .898 save percentage, and a .364 goals against average with 1 shutout also.
Well, You know what? I'm going to dive right into him. You can go look at our piece last year at the deadline. We did talk about him as a target for the Avalanche, and we all know that they were hunting for a goalie and it didn't happen. That was one of the guys they were targeting. I'll give you my story with him. When I say story is I actually really, really, really liked his start to his career in the American League.
Okay.
A little bit of Avs, related stuff here was scouting, and I remember going to Iowa, spending a few days there, and I think they had 3 games in 5 nights, something like that. And when I park myself like that in situations in little cities like that, like, you know what? I'm not just going to go to the game. I go to the practices. I watch them. I see how they react with their teammates. And it was great because it just happened to be old assistant coach Timmy Army for another show that was on our show this summer. Timmy Army was head coach there. Assistant coach was what? Stanley Cup champion Alex Tanguay. And then Cody McLeod was still being player/assistant coach. So I spent like 4 or 5 days with those guys, going to eat with them. And then obviously, you're in the same town as them. And I remember being so intrigued by this Kahkonen. And I was like, who is this guy? Like, I really like him. And I remember he had won the World Juniors with Mikko, actually, with Team Finland. And so those guys have known each other for a while. But I remember being so impressed by him. I loved his work ethic in practice. I loved the way he just approached every shot. I love the way that the coaches talked about him, saying this guy will play. I don't want to talk like Timmy, but Eric, this guy's gonna play. You know what I mean? Like, and they were like just so impressed by his work ethic. So I always followed him, and I remember seeing him later in the year, and I was like, really, really telling, working with the Flames at the time, like, we got to keep an eye on this guy, Kahkonen, and like he's gonna be there. He's gonna play in the league. It gets part of that trade to Minnesota a few years later. They had let it go. I remember they had Wallstead, and all of a sudden they started being a little bit of goaltending depth there in Minnesota, and then they let him go to go get that extra defenseman for their playoff run. Ended up being Middleton. That's still there. It still makes a good salary, and it was a good trade, and they get up a younger asset in Kahkonen. But Kahkonen all of a sudden went to San Jose. I saw him play plenty there, same thing in the minors. I really liked him in the minors. To say that he's been outstanding at the NHL level, if you just look purely at numbers, you're going to be like, yeah, not really good. But then again, I'm not here to bash on San Jose. It hasn't been good. It's a toxic environment the last few years. What I mean by toxic is losing just brings out the worst out of everybody. So it's tough to go and all of a sudden have some results numbers-wise. So I think that's where he's been. Again, last year I said, I don't care. I'm not looking at his numbers. I want the Avs to go get him. Didn't work out. He ends up going to New Jersey. I thought he did more than fine in New Jersey. I do believe he is an NHL caliber goaltender. I do believe that given a shot, he can be good. Listen, I like the pickup. We can talk about it later in our segments later on when we're going to talk and dissect a little bit of what's going on. But I do love one thing. I've been saying this the whole training camp till now. I love competition. Competition brings the best out of athletes. If you don't think that this is a competition in net right now, you're in the wrong place. There's a lot of competition in net right now, and they're not here to mess around. You could see it from his presser that we'll see later. At the end of the day, what have you done for me lately? And that's life in the National Hockey League. And right now, it's only been one game. I'm not saying I'm panicking or they're panicking, but your job as a general manager is to make sure every day that you can make your team better. And if you can do it, and also, I'm not going to say the word, Bednar said one very important word, 4-letter word. Why wouldn't you do it? Later on, you'll know about that 4-letter word. I like the fact that he went and got his, tried to make his team better by that claim. Time will tell, and we'll see how that's going to play out.
So I think the biggest question is the competition, right? The compete. What do you who's worried right now? If you're Gorgie or Eustace, who are you like when you come off the ice, because it happened in the middle of practice. Obviously the waivers, the waiver wires hit at noon. The guys were on the ice. Who checked their phone and was like, okay, buddy.
Yeah, as a goalie, listen, if you're, for example, Eustace or whatever, like, you don't know what's going on. Like, when it comes down to waivers and stuff like that. You're on the ice, so maybe he did get the nod. Hey, just FYI, in case when you walk in, you did pick up someone. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not saying they did or did not, or things happen. Things happen in the National Hockey League. Like you can't, and it's not about hurting feelings. It's about winning.
Sure.
So
that's what you're getting paid to do.
That's right. And
it's a business.
So if you're used to this, well, it's like, well, what does this mean? Well, I don't know. But again, I tell you guys all the time, you get paid to go play and perform. You don't get paid to go analyze. And if you want to do that, you can work on firms here in town, and you know what I mean, like numbers and analyze. And the day you analyze in the National Hockey League, you won't last long because you don't know, and your job is to make sure that you don't want to know. All you want to know is to be ready and to focus on the task at hand, right? I mean, it has to be that. And if you do that, you can have a career that just brings you longevity in your career. If not, you're going to be a nervous wreck, and it's hard, and it's really, really stressful to play in a National Hockey League. I don't want to hear people like, oh, you make good salaries. Hey, listen, it's a stressful job. Your job, there's always someone that is there to go after your job, from within your team to outside your team to guys down the street in Loveland to guys around the league to waivers, as we saw today. Now, with that said, it's also, if I'm Georgiev, I don't care what people say. Like, it's still competition. You have a guy that's 28 years old that's coming into his own as a goaltender in Kahkonen. If you don't think that it's all of a sudden like going to bring a little bit of competition, then like I said, you're in the wrong place. You're analyzing the wrong sport. It does, and I think it's a little bit of a wake-up call for everybody. Now, with all this paperwork right now, we all know he was in Winnipeg, therefore he needs a visa, all that kind of stuff. That usually takes a few days, and we all saw that with Shillington and training camp and all that kind of stuff. But that will take a few days. I think the play on the next few games will dictate what they're going to do. Can they go a little three-headed monster rotation somewhere somehow because they don't want to lose guys to waivers? I don't know what Eustace's value is around the league. It'd be nice if we could be a fly on the wall and understand, is there really a value for you? I do believe he doesn't clear waivers, meaning he gets picked up. So it'll be interesting to see what this means. But I think, like I'm always saying, I said it to us this morning. We were with our friend Kyle and everything, and talking to Rudo and AJ, and it was more like winning cures all. It just does. Wow. And when you win, it's so much easier. The drinks taste better in the locker room, whatever it is now. I was going to say Gatorade, but it's not Gatorade anymore. It's not. What is it now? Like, what's the official friggin' drink of the NHL, Tiff? My God.
It, Body Armor?
Body Armor, yeah. So you can't say Gatorade anymore. You can't say BioSteel. It's the Body Armor tastes better. And it does. So at the end of the day, winning cures all. And your job as a GM is to see and to make your team better because you want to get wins.
Yeah.
Today was an example of that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Everybody in the Toyota chat talking about how it might take a little bit with the visa, 100%. I mean, even Bednar mentioned it. You'll hear his press conference in a little while. He talked about the fact that it's going to take a second. He's in Winnipeg, yada, yada, yada. And I do like that next great number 8 quote, overthinking, overanalyzing separates the body from the mind. It's truth. It's truth. You just got to go do your job. I do love the idea that, now they know they picked up the extra goaltender. We should see a more spirited game tomorrow from whoever gets the start in net, and no idea who will get the start in net. I love how they always ask the coaches that in the press conference, and there's no answer going to be given there. So
again, this is a little combo. I always bring up Tom Brady. I'm not a big football guy. Yeah. I don't pretend I'm an expert. I just love the story. The story is that, you know what? He was one of those guys. He was the third quarterback, the second string, whatever he was. And then when his number got called because of an injury to Drew Bledsoe, he was ready. He was ready for the moment. He never complained on, I don't have any reps in practice. You know what? But the reps that I got, I was ready. So when you do get your opportunity, the opportunity might never come back. And that was what we talked about, Gizmo, you and I and the fellas and Tiff about in preseason. I was disappointed, and I think Bednar, that presser, was disappointed in some of the youngsters. Say, God, I felt that they left it out on the table a little bit. They made it easy on us to get rid of them. I just feel, for example, I'm not saying it's easy, but I felt Eustace came in cold, wasn't ready, and then all of a sudden you have what you have. And then all of a sudden that's the last taste that you left in your coaches' in mind. Next thing you know, opportunity comes to get an extra guy today. You get him for that 4-letter word. We'll let you watch the presser. And then, hey, you got to be ready. And your opportunity might never come after that. So that's why I said to Tom Brady, that's fascinating. And 20-something years later, this guy was still number one.
Okay, lots more to talk about, and the news coming out of practice. Jonathan Drouin injured. We're going to talk about that and what we think that timeline is. But first, let's talk about bases. You know what I mean? Like, what's the big, what do you base things on? Where do you grow from? And that, of course, starts with a real solid foundation. And if you need a solid foundation that also looks really good in your home, Empire Today has the answer for you. Make sure you check them out because they are hooking us up. And with Empire, you get to shop at home, right? They're going to make sure you've got the right product for your needs, and they always are quick and professional. That installation is done in a snap, and they also have a price match guarantee. Their philosophy is to let you find what you need and not overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes. Plus, they've got that virtual floor designer, so you can literally put your house, your room, whatever that space is that you need that flooring done, right in there. You can see how it fits with your furniture, how it matches with your wall decor, the whole thing to give you the most convenient and easy way to get exactly what you need. Now, keep in mind, there are imposters out there who will claim that they do the same job that Empire does. Well, we just know that's not true because Empire has been steady and down the middle, literally forever and ever and ever. You can schedule a free in-home estimate today. And remember, all listeners receive $350 off whenever they use the promo code DNVR. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/DNVR for details. We gotta talk more about being in the inner circle. We were in the inner circle today at the hockey rink, right? And we figured that out pretty quickly. But you need to be part of the Circle K inner circle because everybody wants to save money right now, especially with rising gas prices. It's getting crazy out there. E, my boy here, took care of me today and filled the car up. Appreciate you, partner. It's a good man. It's a good guy. But listen, you know, we got a little bit of a road trip coming up here. We got the car filled with gas. We got some snacks. We got some bevies. Right? And we did that all at Circle K because we're in the inner circle and I like the discount. Plus, we get all the points. It's super easy. Circle K is always proud to be along for the ride. They're along for the ride on the Buff Stampede. They're going to be traveling with us. And you can get the free membership. It's easy to download. All you got to do is enter your email and phone number to be fully enrolled. After that, all you need is your phone number to get all the deals that are out there, including food, drinks, and more. Sign up for the Circle K Inner Circle app and make sure you receive 25% off per gallon on your next 5 fill-ups. That's a pretty significantly cool deal. You can find it all in the app under Inner Circle. All the offers are there for you. Download that Circle K app and sign up for Inner Circle for those exclusive offers. New offers, purchases, clubs, and sweepstakes are uploaded on a weekly basis. So make sure you're in the know and get after it because it'll help you save some money. 25% off gallons of gas to start? Yeah. That should be enough right then and there. Jonathan Drouin, not at practice today. At practice, not skating, was an active participant in watching from the bird's nest up above. Coach Bednar talked about it. You'll hear him speak later on in our show. But basically saying, hey, listen, did not put a timeline on it. But it's a blow. It's a big loss with everything else that they're dealing with to start the season.
Well, yeah, like you said, he's going to miss at least a couple games. Right?
Games. I mean, and it is upper body.
Upper body, couple games. Again, welcome to the National, right? Yeah. You know, this is life in the National Hockey League. We've talked about it. The depth a little bit is hurting at forward with the Avalanche, like we've talked about all summer with Val and Lecky and Gabe. And I don't want to hear Gabe. We all know when we mention the word Gabe this year, it means differently than last year. Because remember, last year we knew it was gone all year. It could be replaced on the cap for cap reasons. This year, totally different. That's why you're going to hear me, all of us talk about it all the time. Gabe does take a spot, meaning he does. He does, even though he's on LTIR. It's as we all know, it's math. I'm not the best at math, but if you want to replace the guy, you better have the money when he's back and ready to go. So it's different than last year when you knew he wasn't coming back. The big difference this year is he's coming back. So at some point, with that said, there is a little bit of thinness. Like it's thin.
Oh, it's
a little
thin.
bit up front. So now you see Jonathan that's been outstanding. That I thought had a good game the other day, all of a sudden is out now for a couple of games. What does this mean? I think time will tell a little bit. Obviously, roster transactions, we're not going to put that up every day.
No.
Like we all saw that
that's going to happen.
It's going to happen daily.
It's not breaking
Send
news.
downs. It's paper transactions.
Yes.
They're there. Now, with that announcement, obviously picking up Capo Kahkonen, not to be
KK.
the one in the Rangers, but Kahkonen. Don't be confused. So there's some room on the 23-man roster. Now we all know immigration, so he's not going to count right away. All that kind of stuff. Who knows what they're going to do? Are they going to recall the forward? I'm not sure. We all know usually Bednar does not like to go 7D, but sometimes you have no choice, and that's what you're doing. I would like for them to go 7D tomorrow. I'll tell you why. You're playing at home. You got 4 games on a home stand there, and it's every other game that you're not playing on back-to-backs. You know what? Ride the horses right now. It's all good. They're fresh from the summer. I got no problem with that. And if you have to double shift guys like Casey or Nate to play with the fourth line guys like we used to back then do with Sakic, Forsberg, and Pigeons like myself and Corby on the fourth line would have the greatness of Joe Sakic or Peter Forsberg at center with you guys. It makes you play against fifth and sixth Ds and fourth lines, and easy to rack up points that way. I'm just telling you. So at the end of the day, I don't mind that, but I know that Ds don't always necessarily like playing 7Ds. But again, they'll have to figure it out. There's a lot of cap reasons of what they're going to dictate with that move. If we see a call-up, don't be surprised. If you don't see a call-up, don't be surprised. So I think it's going to be a little bit of come and go. There was some lines there at practice with Colton going on the wing there with Casey and with Richie on the right side. And then obviously Kovalenko playing with Mac and Mikko. Again, Ivan by himself with Parker Kelly on the fourth line. We'll see what happens. We'll see what that means for those lines. But a business-like attitude a little bit today from the coaching staff at practice and the players too. And it wasn't all roses. It was a little bit of intense emotions out there and a little bit of barking and, to make sure. You know what? You don't want to start the wrong foot. They started on the wrong foot. We'll talk about that later. But at the end of the day, it wasn't all that bad.
Well, we'll talk about it right now. But first, Rudo, he's alive in the chat. See, told you guys, he's okay. He's just a little under the weather still. He says, I'd rather they got Capo Kako, to be honest. And then, of course, he makes a very good point. And, Tiff, if you could bring his other one back up. This is a great question. And I appreciate it, Rudo. Why don't the Avs simply just stop the puck?
Expert analysis
I
from
mean,
Rudo.
that is the kind of stuff right there.
Our Rudo?
Yeah, That's
So
our
everyone
guy.
knows I can't read.
Yeah, that's our guy. Yeah.
love
And that's
him.
a good question. Why didn't they just stop the puck last game? I mean, was it a conscious decision to let in 8, do you think?
Is that where we're at right now? We going over? I'll go there. That's fine. I'll cheat. Rudo's baiting me right now.
Yes, he is.
He's going
100%.
like he's
No,
doing the,
yes, he is.
He's in his house right now. He's doing the Frank the Tank Sally right now.
Let's get into it a little bit.
Tank.
Give me.
Frank the Tank.
Let's just
He knows
pull
I
up.
would fall into it right now. All right, I'm falling into it.
Let's pull up the numbers,
All right.
Tiff, from that last game.
Okay. Listen.
The save percentage of note is what we'll start with. Let's just talk. Well, we're going to talk through positions real quick. And then we're going to hear from some of the guys, too. But I'll preface it with this. Be a goldfish. 5-second memory. And after we talk about this is the last time we're going to bring up the season opener against the Vegas Golden Knights.
Okay, so it starts in net. Listen, it was not a good performance.
No.
That is not being a goalie killer. That is not blaming goalies. At the end of the day, I'm not that. And I know Rudo's baiting me and he's laughing right now. I'm just being honest. If you're going to look at those numbers, if you look at that number, I mean, that is an atrocious number. No one No team in the National Hockey League can win a hockey game with that. It's impossible.
8 goals on 22 shots.
Stop. I mean, it was not good. It's a lot like that first game against Winnipeg last year. People are like, oh my God, being negative. No, it's not negative. You're asking to talk about the first game and to have a goldfish memory, which we will. But it starts in the net. It was not good. It was atrocious. I don't want to hear, yes, but the guy was by himself in the front. Yeah, guess what? Every game I saw last night, there was guys left by themselves in the front. It's hockey. Stuff happens. Guys are left alone. Missed assignments.
Was it weird? Was it weird that Donnie White, one of the main equipment guys for the Colorado Avalanche, was asking me about skate size and pad size and what hand I caught with? I thought that was weird today.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, what are we doing?
It's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. That's a bad take, not a real scoop. But at the end of the day, there are breakdowns in the National Hockey League. The Avalanche did not have many. They had 4 high-danger scoring chances
pretty good
against. They played a good game. Every shot went in. When you give up 6 scoring chances and you lose 8-2, that's not very good. That means you did not what? You didn't get a save. That is a fact. That is not being negative. He didn't make a save. That is not complicated. That is not hard to do. And that's not being harsh on the goaltender. Yeah. It's a reality.
Yeah.
It's a reality. And guess what? Yeah, McKinnon missed his assignment. Yeah, awesome, great. It's going to happen again. And so did McCarr. It happens every night to everybody and to the best players, to the Selke Trophy winners. They miss an assignment. It happens. Yeah. That's why the goalie's there is to make a save. Yeah. Now, if you never make saves, you're in trouble. But then if you do make saves, let's not go overboard and say, oh my God, he made saves. At the end, that's your job. That's your job to make saves. So yeah, it was a failure in net. Goldfish memory. It was a failure. Numbers prove it that it was a failure. At the end of the day, you need better than that. We talked about it for 2 months. The Avalanche, the situation they're in, the handcuffs that were put on them, and this is not to defend Chris McFarland, good goaltending will not be good enough the first 2 months of the season. They need great goaltending. So now to sum it up and never talk about the first game again, it was not good. It was not great. It was really poor. So that won't work.
Rudo, what a troll. He must be feeling better right now. Get your butt down here already. Fun fact, the lowest winning save percentage in the NHL was a .562. John Garrett with the Quebec Nordiques, and he goes on to say, so it is technically possible.
Shush. Shush. And I remember John Garrett, just so you know, that's how old I am. And John's a good man.
Defense was a high point, I thought. There were some oopses there and there, but, I really, and you can start to call me a homer on this, but love the play of Calvin de Haan and Malinsky. I thought their pairing was maybe one of the best on the ice.
And always remember, they have a top 4 there that's so solid. It's as good as any top 4 in the National Hockey League. Your job now is to support those guys. And we all know that there's 2 more waiting in the wings, right? Ludwig, that's picked up on waivers. Same thing. Why? Yep. Make your team better. You getting a guy that you felt was different style of player than Brandstrom. Yep. You help yourself by getting the Pullman contract with the LTIR money, and then you're getting a guy that's more rugged, that's a little bit tougher to play against than Brandstrom. Again, we wish him the best of luck. But somewhere, somehow, if you're the bottom 4, what I mean by that, Calvin and Sam Malinsky and Ludwig and Shillington, they're all going to play. So there'll be a rotation at some point. Again, knock on wood. Again, we see an injury to Drouin now. There'll be some injuries. Somewhere, somehow, everybody's going to go in there and play. But I think it's the easiest job in the world to go play behind of the Tays and Makars, because all you have to do is play some safe hockey. And again, when I say safe, is which your decision making, but also jump up in the play. They want you, the Avalanche. Coach Bednar wants you to jump up in the play and to go and to activate. I thought those guys were more than fine. Scoring chances against show you that the decor of the Avalanche was none. Was there a few grade A chances? Absolutely. And if we were able to bet on games to say like, hey, are they going to give up some grade A chances? Oh my God, I would be driving Ferraris, because the answer is yes. It's going to happen again tomorrow. So when a guy loses his guy in front of the net tomorrow, don't go like, oh my God, what are they thinking? Happens. It's hockey. It happens every game. There has been no such a thing where you play a game, you give up 0 high danger chances. But I'll tell you one thing. If you give up 4, wow, the odds are you're going to win the game. And I've learned that from our guys, Rudo and AJ, and I love their analytics perspective on games. But I tell you one thing. On the D side of things, it was more than fine.
Well, speaking of betting, thanks, pal. Look at you. Passing me the puck. We love our friends at Bet365 because whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Bet365 is offering you an awesome opportunity to, well, get in the game and maybe make a little bit of money with the code DNVR365 when you sign up. Not to mention they've got a ton of really cool stuff and fun bets, and you got to keep an eye out for daily boosts, including some DNVR ones that we threw in the other day that almost would have hit if Mac would have just scored us a goal. That's all right. He'll probably do that a few more times. But every day, Bet365 powers up the odds on hundreds of bets to give you a chance to win more with over 10,000 boosts every month. They boost specific markets and your winnings and even parlays, so keep an eye out for those custom DNVR boosts that I was telling about. Also, they have the early payout offer, which is super cool. So you win if your team gains a 3-goal lead. It's an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. Download the app and use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. I did, and I'm having a ton of fun with it. I've gotten a couple of friends to do it as well, and they're finding success with it, and it just makes it interesting. You don't have to throw a ton of money out there. Just get involved a little bit and have some fun with it. They have a couple of different offers when you sign up. New customers can choose between 2. If you open an account at Bet365, use that code DNVR365, deposit $10, and then choose between either the bet and get offer, which is what I did. Made a bet of $5, and then as soon as that bet settles, win or lose, you get $200 in bonus bets. Or they have this first bet safety net by placing a bet of up to $1,000, and if your qualifying bet loses, you receive a matched refund in bonus bets. Remember, you must be 21 plus and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. We're kind of having fun with that, aren't we, buddy?
I love it. I love it.
It's
little
been cool.
bits.
I've had fun with just the general, I don't know. I just think it's kind of cool to make the game a little bit interesting when you're just hanging around watching it.
Well, especially that I'm not an expert in football and stuff that, so it makes it more fun to watch.
Right.
Or else I'm like, get another hockey game on a Tuesday, Monday night. That is Game 3 of the season. But no, watch Monday Night Football a little bit, and then I'm always going to watch hockey on my left eye, but I can watch with my right eye and get a little bet. That's fun.
And if you are even at the games or you're looking to go to the games to bet on, well, then Game Time is the way to do it. I've been frustrated by other ticketing apps when you try to find a ticket last minute. I mean, it's rare that I'm looking for a ticket for an event because I'm normally there covering it. But when you do, it makes it easy and you want something that's smart and intuitive, and that's where Game Time comes in, especially with their new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to your favorite live events, doesn't matter what they are, even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through the tickets. We're showing you the app right there. It's really easy to identify where you want to be, what that view is, what the ticket prices are, so that you know sort of what you're paying and what you're spending on. For me, that's what I like. I like how easy it is to see it. I feel with some of the other apps, you got to guess and click on color codes, and then it takes you to a price. Well, I don't want to do that. I don't have time for that. I want to see very easily what the price is to a game, and you can customize things, right? They've got a lot of different things like all-in pricing and seat views and low price guarantees, and of course, Game Time ticket coverage. So your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, just create that account and redeem with code DNVR for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time, baby.
Love it.
Good, right? It's fun. It's a good app. It's a really good app. I love Bet365 too, and they're, of course, presenting this DNVR Avs pod. Well, we talked about the defense a little bit before we took that little pause and just sort of the high points. Wanted to get the opinion in the room as well. So we caught up with a good friend of the show, our boy, Calvin de Haan. Okay, Cal, one in the books already. Just what was the comfortability for you in an actual game situation with these guys now?
Yeah, I just tried to stay calm out there and, do what I did during training camp. Try your best to remember everything. I thought as a team, I thought we, aside from the 8-4 score, I thought we played pretty good for the most part. We didn't get many grade A opportunities, and that's all you can ask for from the defense.
Talk about the partnership with Malinsky. You mentioned in training camp how you enjoyed playing with him, and you guys seemed to really click the other night as well, too. I thought you guys looked great out there.
Yeah, thank you. I don't think we did anything too fancy. It's not really, wasn't one of those games per se where him or I were holding onto the puck a long time, but, we made a lot of good small plays. I think that helped the team at the end of the day to get the puck out of the zone. And other than that, I thought we played pretty solid. And, he's been my partner pretty much since I got here. And, I think we've developed pretty good chemistry for the most part. And, he's a great young player. Kudos to him for making the team right out of camp. He's a big part of this group.
Talk a little bit about the penalty kill and sort of the structure there. Obviously, 2 power play goals in that last one, but the penalty kill will work for you guys. Just sort of take me through your thoughts on it. You worked on it today.
Yeah, I think we just gave him a little bit too much time and space. You can't really pinpoint anything. Sometimes you need a save, sometimes you need a block, sometimes you need a clear. You can pinpoint a few things, but it's not for a lack of effort. We're doing our best out there, obviously, but I think we just got to try and limit the opposition's time and space as much as possible, and try and make them make a mistake, and that comes with pressure from us.
New team for you, so home opener for the first time in a new building for the first time. What's the anticipation for tomorrow night at Ball Arena?
Yeah, I'm assuming I'm sure it's going to be a packed house. It's always been a great barn to play in, especially on the road. It's been one of my favorites. It's a passionate fan base here, and we got to take advantage of this homestand as well. Take advantage of that altitude and go from there. Luckily, I'm not really sucking too much wind anymore, which is nice. So got over that hump pretty quick.
I was just going to ask you if you acclimated with the dryness and the nose.
Yeah. The humidifier in the bedrooms made a big difference for sure. So that's I recommend whoever's watching. I recommend anyone to get one if they don't have one. So, yeah. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Cal.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
I love him. I do. I love him. Listen, I'm happy for him because he's here. His family's settling in. He's got a young little one, and it is fun doing this job for a lot of reasons, and it's really fun when you get to watch your friends do it too and sort of be interactive. But Calvin's great. He's really fitting in well. The boys seem to like him a lot in the room. And when he first got here, he was talking to us in the room. He's like, "Oh my God, everything's dry. My lips are dry. I can't breathe." And I'm like, "Humidifier, buddy. Get a humidifier. It's gonna help you."
I've been telling guys for years to get traded here.
Yeah.
Drink some water. Go get a humidifier. That's it. My nose is bleeding. Yeah, I know. Go get a humidifier. Drink some water. He's learning, and he's right. That homestand is big.
Yeah.
I really, like I said, I like the way the decor played. Were they perfect? No. Will they be perfect tomorrow? No, it doesn't happen. But I'll tell you one thing. The amount of stuff that you give up, so little of it, you're going to win games more often than not when you play that way.
Yeah. Switching gears a little bit, still talking about the game. Obviously, we talked defense. Let's just talk forwards and... Let's start with forwards. Talk about what you liked. Obviously, Rantanen looked phenomenal. He's in the Toyota chat earlier. People talking about his contract now with what kind of came out on Twitter. I don't think anybody here is worried about it, nor does he look like he's worried about it. He certainly played fine the other day.
Yeah, and I know a lot's talked about. Tied in with Draisaitl. It's a little different. I think everybody's a little different. They do have the same agent, and they do have a partner in the sense that McKinnon, Rantanen, McDavid, Draisaitl, right? So there's a lot of similarities here and there. Every negotiation is handled differently, and I think Chris McFarland talked graciously a few days ago to the media and talked about that he wasn't going to comment on with the media on what's going to happen with Mikko. But at the end of the day, they're complex talks when it comes down to negotiations of that nature and the type of player that he is. And people keep saying, like, oh, he scored 3 goals, his number's going up right now. Listen, I don't necessarily buy that fact.
No.
What I'll say is Mikko's been a 100-plus guy, points the last couple seasons. He eclipsed the 50-goal mark. You expect him to do that again this year? I don't expect him to get 160 points. If he does, awesome. Now you're talking about a different kind of... But you do expect Mikko to be in the same ballpark that he's always been. So I don't think that... First of all, you can't say... What's McFarland doing waiting? At the end of the day, it takes 2 to tango. Both of them are in talks. Seems like everything is going more than fine. Time will tell. Is it in 6 months? Whatever it is. It is in 5 months. Is it in 5 weeks? In 5 days? Who knows? One day, we'll get the news that it's all said and done. Somewhere, somehow, to get back to the forwards, I thought that they did more than fine. You're going to score 4 goals on the opposition's opener against a good team, whether you like the Golden Knights or not. The offense was more than fine. Would have liked to seen a little bit more of, I thought like Kovalenko and Richie did fine, but you want to see more sometimes a little bit, especially now in those situations of the thinness of what's going on now. Maybe no Joe Druin. All good, fair grade there. I got no issues with forwards. I got no issues with the Ds. And, again, we already talked about the goaltending. But as far as the forward goes, I thought that it was good to see Mac get on the board, Mikko get on the board. I'm talking about score sheet points. But then again, big goal by Middlestat. You saw Colton on that line there on the
Casey
wing.
Played good.
Casey was good. And on the right side, I don't remember who was with them at that time, but might have been Covey. Yep. So I think maybe you'll see tomorrow, same thing. Colton get on the wing a little bit. Again, depending on what they're going to do with the lineup, I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of, as you saw today at practice, a little bit. What does that mean? I don't know. It means squat. But you saw a little bit of Colton on the wing and with Middlestat, so we'll see.
How about special teams? Towards the end of training camp, we saw a lot of work at the end of practice on special teams. Same thing today. Good 15 minutes working on special teams at the end of practice. Obviously, they gave up a couple of power play goals. I believe they scored 1. Thoughts on special teams for the Avs in that first game and what you saw today at practice?
Go back, we talked about 3 keys before the game. And again, we, as a rule of thumb last year, we said, we're always going to leave special teams and goaltending alone as part of the 3 keys. We won't have them as one of those 3 keys because they're crucial to every game. Special teams, goaltending, crucial to every game. Now, we did make an exception last game. We did say key number 3, goaltending. If you looked underneath it, what I talked about was, especially early in the season, with some new guys, a couple new guys like Calvin de Haan, for example, killing penalties. You need your goaltender to be the best penalty killer.
Yeah.
This is not to go back and harp on the goaltender and his performance last game. On that penalty killing, I think structurally, if Prater was here, Nolan Pratt, it would tell you that I don't think he minded the way they played structurally on the PK. If you look at Eichel's goal, for example, it's a bang-bang play. We're talking about the importance of winning faceoffs, right? That this is one of them. We've been talking about it all summer. But somewhere, somehow, your goalie has to be the best penalty killer. At the end of the day, if you look at those goals, for me, he wasn't their best penalty killer. Hence, that they gave up a couple goals against on the PK.
All right, well, one of their best penalty killers is, of course, the mayor of Denver, Logan O'Connor. We talked to him after the skate today.
All right, first one in the books, just general feel on the first game and sort of kind of getting into the flow of things.
Yeah, I mean, clearly the result isn't what we wanted. I still think there's a lot of positives we can take from it throughout the game. I think just a couple mental breakdowns coming back in our zone defensive-wise that we need to clean up and sort of be aware of, and we went over that in video. We practiced it out there, so now it's just replicating what we saw in video and cleaning up those mistakes for tomorrow.
What are the positives that you mentioned? So there are positives to take out.
Yeah, I think our D-zone coverage was really good. I think, we limited chances to the outside. It was more so opportunities off the rush that resulted in the goals they had. And so I think D-zone coverage is a big part. A lot of shots to the outside. we got to clean up within the house a little bit in regard to coming back. And then I think offensively we did generate a decent amount. Power play had a good night too. I mean, I think they're 1-3, so we'll take that for sure. But it's just rounding things out from there. I think we're not super disappointed with how the process went. I mean, the result we are, but I think there's a lot to still build on and learn from it. In game one, so there's going to be a lot of things to critique from there.
Anything specific on the penalty kill that you guys want to tighten up a little bit? Obviously, 2 power play goals, but it was a weird game for a lot of reasons. But anything on the penalty kill?
I think just be more assertive. First and foremost, I guess, get those clears down the ice, and then if you don't, you do get sustained zone time. It's being a little assertive. I think we struggled with that a bit. I think there's a lot of new personnel that we're trying to walk through things. The system and structure is a little different. The cues are different. The guys you're out there with are different. And you go up against a power play unit like theirs who's been together for a while, they're going to expose you if you're not on your toes. So I think we got to trust our feet within the penalty kill.
Emotion.
Fired up by you playing in front of the home crowd.
Absolutely no. It's great having a 4-game homestand here. Getting a bit of a routine, get back in front of our crowd. I know they're going to be jacked up for the first game of the season, so we're definitely going to have to use that energy in the building to help us throughout tomorrow night.
All right, and a lot coming out of that. I love Locke's perspective, being just a little bit more aggressive on the penalty kill, and just we talked when we stopped filming a little bit more. He went into some more detail about just how he just thinks he could be just a smidge more aggressive and take a little bit more of an active presence.
Absolutely, and I think guys like that, they thrive, and they're big pieces of the penalty killing. Mike Keane was like that on Avs 1.0. LOC's the guy now for this type of stuff, and you take pride into the results, right? And you always have PK meetings in the room, and obviously Olin Pratt being one of the guys that's in charge of the PK. But the guys take pride. Usually the goalies are involved. Patty Watt was so much involved in those meetings. He wouldn't take the marker, and now he's a coach. Figure it out. But so involved with those guys, and somewhere Logan wants to take the pride factor. Like you said, he's not going to sewer the goaltender. Then, oh my God, our goalie. No, it's a team game. We can be a little tighter here and there, make a little more pressure, have a little maybe better angles, all that stuff, correct everything, and be a top 5 team on the PK. Usually it goes hand in hand with championship teams. It goes hand in hand with, division champions. Yeah. It's very important to be on the same page, and I think they have a great guy in O'Connor to be kind of the captain of the PK.
I like him a lot. I like listening to him talk. I just like everything about the way he plays, too. I'm a big LOC fan. Not hard to see why they locked up Locke. Pretty
funny.
See what I did there?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Nice.
Tiff, I can explain that to you. Give me I can draw it out for you.
Yeah. Well.
Are we not talking about the Loch Ness Monster?
See, yeah. We'll just talk about my sarcasm later. Yeah,
people are still learning.
We did hear from Coach. He had a lot to say about a few different things. We'll air that in its entirety right now for you. Here's Coach.
Yeah, Drouin's hurt, and he'll miss the next few games, and then we'll reassess. But he won't play tomorrow, Monday for sure, and then he'll keep getting reevaluated and see where it goes.
You guys claim Kahkonen off waivers, I guess. Just what's the plan for getting him into town and how you guys will?
He's got immigration to do first off, so he's in Winnipeg, so that can take better part of a week. And then we'll see where we're at in the schedule and see how our guys are playing, and then we'll sort of figure it out from there.
To go back to Drouin real quick, upper body, lower body?
Upper body, yeah.
We spent weeks talking about the guys who were already missing. What does it mean to have another one of those guys missing?
Yeah, it doesn't help. Obviously, every guy that's missing makes the job more difficult, but it forces our team to dig in on the details and the commitment side of the game right away. Like we said it going in, we have to expect that everyone that's in our lineup has to be on top of their game, not just be in a role, but thrive in that role in order to have success. So that's a little bit of pressure right out of the gate. I also think that it can kind of ramp up that commitment and playing with pride and being able to carve out wins can help you get set up off, right out of the gates, and it's a long season.
you guys are always, Chris always talks about if you guys think a move can make you better, you're going to do it. So, with Kahkonen, it's a goal that's available for free. He's got familiarity with Rudo, but how much of what we saw in that first game is the Kahkonen thing where, trying to maybe get a little bit of juice going in that goalie room?
Yeah, I think a little bit of all of that, Like if it's a player with experience, he's played well in places before, and he's free, and we've got room. So if we can push our goalies, like we don't know how it's going to play out, right? So we've seen better from our goalies than we've seen here recently, and if they can elevate their game, great, And if Kahkonen can come in and play well, great. It's about winning hockey games, and if we can get incrementally better in any position, we'll try and do it, especially when there's low risk involved.
Do you anticipate recalling a forward or playing one of your other defensemen tomorrow?
Not sure yet. We'll see, but we'll contemplate both actually.
You have to rely. I think those forwards played the rookies in that first game. They played a decent amount. Now you're gonna probably need them a little bit more. Just when you looked back, how would you kind of evaluate how they looked?
Yeah, I thought they did okay. Yep, I thought Ivan was solid again, and Richie was pretty good. Kovalenko, I thought, did a really nice job. For some of them, it's just getting more involved, right? Not playing it too safe, trusting what they've been learning and doing in practice, and getting on their toes a little bit and being a little bit more assertive. I think there's going to be some bumps in the road along the way, but we're trying to encourage them to trust their skill and their ability, and on both sides of the puck, And so usually as they kind of get a little bit more comfortable, you'll see the speed of it pick up, the relentlessness of their game pick up, and that's where we're trying to push into early here.
What did this organization see in Logan O'Connor when they signed him as an undrafted free agent?
Yeah, elite skater, and tenacious, relentless on pucks as a forechecker, tracker, committed on both sides of the puck. And I remember the rookie camp when we watched him. I think it was up in Thornton area. Can't remember what the rink's called. We went and watched the scrimmage. I think it was 3-on-3, 4-on-4 scrimmage. I think 4-on-4 that year. And he was outstanding. He was all over the puck, creating scoring chances, turnovers, relentless. And we came out of that tournament, watching all of our draft picks and everything, and we're like, what about this O'Connor kid? He was dynamite. And that was kind of the start of it. We signed him shortly after that, and he continued to go on and do that with not only DU, but the Eagles, and he just continually kept getting better, And now he's been doing that on our fourth line to our third line and up even sometimes from there. So trusted penalty killer. He just keeps on improving his game and really honestly building on the strengths that he already had. So he's been a really nice project for our team, and obviously now to be able to sign a long-term deal and stay here, it's a great find and a good homegrown guy for us.
We're a day and a half removed from that first game. You talked about a lot of positives coming out of that one. It was a frustrating result. But,
yeah.
Just from your perspective, how much good was there to build on heading into tomorrow?
There was lots, actually. What was frustrating is I felt like we, it started at the beginning of the game, great start to the game, 10 minutes in, giving up one scoring chance, and we had a handful of our own. And then we make the big mistake, right? Or we aren't committed enough in one area of the game, and it led to a grade A scoring chance against, and we went back at it for another 5 and then gave up another grade A. It just seemed like we worked really hard to get our chances and then gave up grade A's on not thinking correctly or not putting in the work that we needed to defend, right? So, and then on top of that, all the mistakes we made ended up in the back of our net. So it was a frustrating game. We got back into it a couple times and then still continued to make some of the same mistakes. So we studied it hard this morning, had a good video meeting, went out and practiced it. I'm confident our guys will be better, and they'll, we'd been talking about it since the opening meeting at training camp, but now they've seen it through exhibition sometimes and then now live. So there'll be some urgency to change here.
Can that be a good lesson for guys like Cal Ritchie of there's how thin the margins are?
Yeah, no question. I think and that's the thing. Like, we're not expecting perfection, but we got to put ourselves in the right spot to do the job defensively all the time, not just some of the time. So there has to be a consistency to it.
Last few ones, guys.
Tomorrow will be an emotional game for the Blue Jackets, as I'm sure many of their games will be this season with losing a teammate.
Yeah.
Is there any emotion on your end facing that team tomorrow?
None for us different than normal. Like, we have to focus on our priorities, right? It's regular season. Certainly there's a sense of sorrow, and you think about the families involved, and when you're talking about the Blue Jackets specifically, it really sucks, to lose a teammate and a good friend, and especially a guy as good as Johnny was, I think. But, like, we have to focus on our task, right? Like, everyone's got things going on to a certain extent away from the rink, and you certainly have empathy towards that. But when it comes to actual game time for us, we have to focus on our job and what we need to do, and I'm sure they'll be doing the same or trying to do the same as best they can.
Good stuff from Coach. Always love hearing from him. He's one of the. I've been with a lot of NHL teams. He gives the media tons of time. Like, he's very, very thought through on his pressers.
Very graceful. Very nice.
I like it.
I do see the attitude a little bit today. When I say attitude, is business-like attitude. I think the practice was all about like stuff that he wanted to see off of draws and quick outs, and then obviously forechecks, and so a lot of 5-on-5 type of stuff. I don't think he's liked a couple things from the tape, but you can tell when he's joking around. You can tell when he's serious. I felt today he was pretty serious there, walking onto the ice. We should have better results. I mean, again, they didn't play that bad last game, but hopefully they have a better result on the scoreboard tomorrow.
Rudo has been hanging around in the chat. He's in there right now. So just to make sure you all know that he is alive and well and still functioning as one of the smartest hockey minds I've been around. He sent us a little something. Let's check in with Rudo.
Hey guys, just want to give you a quick info dump. With Jonathan Drouin being injured and Kaapo Kahkonen on the roster, that means the Avs are currently at their 23-man maximum. So they either are going to need to play 11-7, or they're going to have to move Jonathan Drouin to the regular IR to free up a roster spot to run a 12-6 combination. If they do that with Drouin, Drouin will have to miss a minimum of 7 days.
In here, buddy. We miss you. Hopefully you're feeling better. Sounding a little rough still, but alive.
Frank the Tank.
He's alive. He's alive. No, good points. Good points. Just talking about kind of what they might end up doing in terms of roster, etc. Drouin injured. So we'll see. I mean, they got some decisions to make. We'll know a little bit more tomorrow. Again, Drouin was there, did not skate, was not in gear, but was watching practice, so actively involved. Looking ahead to Columbus, the Blue Jackets tomorrow. They got off to not the start that they wanted. Obviously, they lose their first game. They come in here. They're already in town. They skated at DU today for practice. You heard Coach Bednar talk about the fact that the Avalanche have a job to do. They got to, win the game. Obviously, they feel bad for the hockey family and the community, and they're still going through all of the emotions that come from losing a teammate and part of your family in Gaudreau. But what do we expect out of Columbus tomorrow, and what kind of a game do we expect from these Colorado Avalanche?
I did watch, because that's what I do, kind of like Rudo. We watch hockey games, right, with No Life and AJ and all of us here. I felt that Columbus was the better team against Minnesota. On the wrong side of the score, lost 3-2. But I'll tell you one thing, Werenski seems to be very healthy this year, even though he was back last year. Again, he had got some freak injuries before that. He looks to be very healthy right now. Had 7 shots on goal last game as a defenseman. Took control of that game. Again, like you just said, they're going to play on raw emotions all season long, as they should. But, the Avalanche have a job to do, and yes. But our thoughts and compassion will be with the Columbus Blue Jacket all season long. But I'll tell you one thing, Dean Evason has brought a new approach to that team. I don't think there will be pushovers. I think that they're going to have we talked about it, JYD, junkyard dog mentality. They're going to be dogs on bones tomorrow, and I think you're going to see a different Columbus Blue Jacket team here tomorrow night.
They are in town. That game will be the home opener for the Colorado Avalanche at Ball Arena. We will, of course, have complete coverage for you like we always do. We'll have hockey and the Rockies in the morning. We'll have sound from Morning Skate, and then we'll have that complete coverage for you leading up to, during, and then after the game. So make sure you are following us on all of our social platforms. Make sure you have subscribed. Make sure you're liking. Throw those likes up there for us if you could. And, of course, make sure you got your notifications on so that you catch up with us whenever we do something fun and something cool. That's it for us today, buddy.
What else? Why is the car full of gas and got some snacks in it?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we're making a road trip. We're heading up north. We're going to go watch the Eagles play their game tonight in Loveland. So if you're hanging around up there, come find E and I. We're going north right now to bring you some content from the Eagles tonight.
Home opener, and let's see. Maybe we'll do a little scouting for Coach Bednar. The front office will be there, and they're always a good support there. And, we'll be talking to some good people down there.
Yeah, and we'll have all that for you tomorrow as well. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, make sure you have a great day. Take care of each other. Call your moms. Make sure you tell them that you love them. And do something to make somebody's life better. Doesn't matter what it is, but do something today and make somebody's life better. Talk to you guys next time.
We all silly like the mayor.